President Joe Biden announced a ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah. Here is what he said today, number 12.
Under the deal reached today, effective at 4 a.m. tomorrow local time, the fighting across the Lebanese-Israeli border will end. Will end. This is designed to be a permanent cessation of hostilities. What is left of Hezbollah and other terrorist organizations will not be allowed, well, I emphasize, will not be allowed to threaten the security of Israel again. Over the next 60 days, the Lebanese army and state security forces will deploy and take control of their own territory once again. Hezbollah terrorist infrastructure in southern Lebanon will not be allowed to be rebuilt. And over the next 60 days, Israel will gradually withdraw its remaining forces. And civilians on both sides will soon be able to safely return to their communities and begin to rebuild their homes, their schools, their farms, their businesses, and their very lives. We're determined this conflict will not be just another cycle of violence. And so the United States, with the full support of France and our other allies, has pledged to work with Israel and Lebanon to ensure that this arrangement is fully implemented, the agreement totally implemented. You know, there will be no U.S. troops deployed in southern Lebanon. This is consistent with my commitment to the American people to not put U.S. troops in combat in this conflict. Instead, we, along with France and others, will provide the necessary assistance to make sure this deal is implemented fully and effectively. Let me be clear. If Hezbollah or anyone else breaks the deal and poses a direct threat to Israel, then Israel retains the right to self-defense consistent with international law, just like any country when facing a terrorist group pledged to that country's destruction.
Now, we thought for reaction we'd bring on our friend Dov Hikind, former New York Assemblyman as a Democrat. He's also with AmericansAA.org. Please welcome back to the program, Dov Hikind. Dov, as always, thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate it.
My absolute pleasure, of course.
Dov, you just got back from Israel. Tell me how things are. How is the war going?
Well, I think there's no question that Israel has been incredibly successful. The war, both in the north and south, could have been over a long time ago, if not for the Biden administration. There's no question about that, the holding back of arms shipments to Israel, et cetera, et cetera. Let's remember that it was the Biden administration for almost a year that told Israel not to defend itself against Hezbollah. Those missiles started flying into Israel, into civilian areas in the north, going back to October 8th, one day after the massacre. Hezbollah was sending missiles into Israel, and the administration, our administration, was saying, don't do this, don't do that. But I think Israel showed very, very clearly the capabilities of the IDF, the amazing success they've had. So, look, this ceasefire, I'm actually still in Israel, leaving tomorrow night. Look, I hope it works. It sounds different from previous agreements with Lebanon. We'll see what happens. Look, one thing for sure, the fact that the Trump administration is coming in with President Trump to come with an amazing team of, let's call them tough guys, tough for America and tough for our friends all over the world, in particular Israel. So I'm more confident about that than anything else. So this is a good moment. We'll see what happens. I'm not ready to celebrate and say, oh, it's all over, it's finished, nothing to worry about. But, this one may be a little different. We shall see very, very soon.
I think it is different, and I'll tell you why, Dov. Not only did Israel decapitate their leadership, kill Nasrallah, the longtime leader of Hezbollah. That brilliant thing that they did with the pagers and the walkie-talkies was stunning. Now you have somebody coming in, President-elect Donald Trump, who is going to say, you did all this with one arm behind your back. That arm is now going to be released. And if I'm Lebanon, if I'm Hezbollah, I said, we got our butts kicked when Israel was being restrained by the Biden-Harris administration. Now they're no longer going to be restrained. I think we ought to do a deal.
Yeah, look, let me tell you, if this works, I give credit to Donald Trump, because Hezbollah, all the rest of them, Iran, they know that there's a new sheriff in town, and a tough sheriff, and so they get it and they understand that you said it perfectly, Larry. Israel's one hand behind your back. State Department, Defense Department, White House for the past year, sources in these different areas giving advice to Israel how to conduct their military affairs. Come on, give me a break. Israel knows how to fight wars. They unfortunately have done it so often. There's a new chapter opening up, and that new chapter starts with the words Donald Trump.
My guest is Dov Hikind. Dov, let's talk about the murder of the rabbi in UAE, United Arab Emirates. Also, a change is this. The UAE appears to be genuinely concerned about the murder of this rabbi and appears to be genuinely cooperating in order to bring the people that have been implicated to justice. What is your reaction to what happened to that rabbi?
Look, it's an absolute horror. It's part of this world trend of Jew hatred, murdering Jews, beating up on Jews, creating fear. We saw what happened in Amsterdam. There's a new story out of England just a couple of hours ago. A bunch of young girls, religious girls, were standing at a particular location in London, and someone started throwing bottles at them. A 14-year-old girl, Jewish girl, in the hospital in critical condition. Those bottles were thrown at these girls because someone hates Jews, period. Nothing to do with Zionism, nothing to do with Israel, but it has everything to do with Jews. And it's just a horrible situation. Montreal, you name it.
Dov, 30 seconds left. React to the International Criminal Court indicting Bibi Netanyahu and people like the Prime Minister of Canada saying that if Bibi Netanyahu set on Canadian soil, he would be arrested.
Just absolutely outrageous. It is sick. You have the Prime Minister of Israel, democracy, and he is the one that is picked on because he's defending his people. What any leader of any country would do, if America defends its country, the ICC comes along and says, we're going to indict the leader of America?
We have to leave it there. Thanks, Dov. God bless. That was the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, saying, if Bibi Netanyahu were to stray to the streets of Canada, we'll pick him up. We'll arrest him because that's what we do. We're one of the co-founders of this International Criminal Court, and these are our values. Also, Ireland, Belgium, the Netherlands, Spain, Austria, and Hungary all said that they would arrest Bibi Netanyahu if given the opportunity. Nothing about the hostages. Nothing about Hamas. Just Bibi Netanyahu. Nothing about how Hamas intentionally puts their munitions in schools, in synagogues, in hospitals, so that there are civilian casualties, so they can turn public opinion against Israel. And it is succeeding. You see on campus after campus after campus, people chanting, free, free Palestine. No word about the hostages. And in Canada, we played a woman yesterday who was chanting, death to America, death to Israel, and, by the way, death to Canada. How many people in Gaza do you think would get away with chanting death to Iran, death to Gaza, death to Hamas? Exactly. This is just sick. Worst attack against Jews since the Holocaust. Most people still have not seen the savagery of what happened on October the 7th. They wouldn't be able to take it. They wouldn't be able to stomach it. 1,200 men, women, children murdered, some raped, some beheaded, hundreds taken hostage. Still hostages, including American hostages. By the way, when Biden gave that talk, he also talked about a possible peace accord outreach to Saudi Arabia. When's the last time you heard him say that? President-elect Trump is a factor here.